Alrighty, guys, we're going to give everybody a couple seconds to get connected here as we start the first AfterSchrock ever launched outside of the KFAB studio at 1110 in Omaha. I have to tell you, the studio here, literally on the elevator ride up to the studio, I was warned, don't let your jaw hit the floor as you come in and see the studio. And I'm thinking, okay, sure, whatever, it's a studio, right? And I walk in here and I'm like, this is the Taj Mahal frickin' studio. I mean, this is huge. The studio is massive. There's multiple emplacements. I mean, the KFAB studio is nice, but they were going to do a remodel, and then all the COVID and everything else hit, and it kind of got shuttled off to the side. But man alive, this thing is beautiful. So just a really nice facility in here. The people have just been amazing. Not just the people that have come into the service center, but just everyone we've had interactions with throughout the entire community. No one's been gruff or upset or grumpy. There was one guy at the Hy-Vee parking lot. There was a guy driving a Honda minivan. So if you're this guy, you were going down the row and somebody started to back out. And he saw you and he stopped, but you still felt the need to honk at him like 67 times as you went by. That was a little overkill, right? But okay, whatever. My wife, she tells me, I had a Honda once in a Hy-Vee parking lot. It's like, what is it with the Hondas? I don't know. But anyway, so fun stuff that happened. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to put the call out for questions. If you have any questions for the AfterSchrock, go ahead and post them now. And as we go through here, I'll try to get to them. I have to keep this one much more brief than the normal AfterSchrock. I can't go 45 minutes because we're literally going to go back to the campground. We got to hook up and pull the rig out. We got to be out by a certain time, so we're kind of on a time clock. But I wanted to make sure I got you guys an AfterSchrock because there's so much funny stuff to share. So probably one of the funniest stories from the week. Everyone's concerned about the Rona, right? So whether you're concerned about it or not, businesses have the responsibility to make sure that that the masks are available, that there's hand sanitizer, stuff like that. We got to keep our employees safe because some of them are more concerned than others. And we got to keep our customers safe because some of them are more concerned than others. And we don't want to upset anybody by nannying them. So let's just do the reasonable thing. So we put an automated soap dispenser in between the front room and the back room of each of our service centers, so that as our technicians go by, whether they're going out to help a customer or coming back from helping a customer, they can take a squirt of handy sandy, rub it on their hands, call it good, right? So we can still shake people's hand then, thankfully. It's nice, really, to have some human interaction once in a while. So anyway, I'm like, we got to fill up, and the hand sanitizer, you go to Target, you can get like a little 8-ounce bottle for like $7. I'm like, it's going to take 2 of those to fill up each of these. So I'm like, this is going to blow the hand sanitizer budget, right? So I'm over at the Home Depot, and they have a gallon jug of hand sanitizer. It's the big old gallon thing, and it's $24 for a gallon. And I'm like, oh, yeah, baby, I can fill up all the service centers on this stuff, right? So, I buy it. I'm on the way to Des Moines, so I buy it, and I take it to Des Moines. And the very first one I fill, bloop, 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 I fill it up, and I put the lid on the thing, right? And what's the first thing you got to do? You take a squirt of hand sanitizer. You got to use it a couple times to get the hand sanitizer to flow. But then once it's flowing, you squirt it, and you rub it. And I don't know why I did it, guys, but I went and I sniffed my hands. And they smelled like fish. I'm not joking. It smelled like I had just caught a fish in a lake and then squeezed it really hard and then rubbed my hands together. It was that fish smell, right? I'm like, this is awful. And I was like, Parker, come try this. This is awful. And what does he do? Boom, dum, 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 squirt. Oh, it smells like, I'm like fish, right? He's like, yes, it smells like fish. This is nasty, right? So we're laughing about it or whatever. But hey, I bought a gallon of the stuff, right? Maybe it's just me. So the phone rang, something important happened, something blew up, and so I forgot. It's on the wall. It's hand sanitizer. Whatever, we'll fix it later. So I go about my business. So then Shelly, I'm standing there, and Shelly, our front desk person, comes along, and she takes a squirt of hand sanitizer and rubs it on there. And I don't know why I said it, but I was like, "Hey, Shelly, smell your hands." And she smelled her hands and she started gagging and she was like, why would you let me do that? And I thought she was messing with me. No, she was really upset. Why would you let me put this nasty stuff on my hands? And she rips the hand sanitizer. Well, she didn't rip it off the wall. She gently lifted it off the screws and took it because she's better than that. And she took it into the bathroom and dumped it down the drain. Probably what I should have done to begin with, right? So then she gets on the phone and she calls her husband because her husband works for a firm that has 4 employees, yet they send them a case of hand sanitizer a month, right? And it's like this lemon-scented hand sanitizer, but he's got like 12 cases of this. She's like, I need 4 bottles of hand sanitizer, please. Can you bring them over? Her husband brings over the hand sanitizer. I'm like, all right, we'll put so we put the lemon-scented hand sanitizer in the thing, and I'm sniffing in the bottle, and it smells like a lemon drop martini. I mean, this stuff smells good. So I'm walking along, and everyone sniffs the bottle. Oh, it smells great, right? So then Logan goes to get a squirt of the hand sanitizer out of the thing, and the thought, literally, I'm in problem-solving mode right now. This entire week has been fire, extinguisher. Like, okay, we forgot this part. Let's get that. We can make it work with this. Let's, get everything. That's what the soft open was for. All the adapters we forgot, the inventory things we thought we didn't have. iMac adhesive, right? We've got all the solid states. We can take your iMac apart, but to put that screen back on, all that holds it on are little glue strips. But we got to have the glue strips. Didn't have any glue strips. Now we do. So, little things like that. So Logan goes up to use the hand sanitizer, and as he's reaching his hand out, it occurs to me somewhere way back in my reptile brain that there's probably a good squirt, because remember I had to do like 3 or 4 pumps to get that fish sanitizer on my hands, right? So there's probably a good 1 or 2 shots of fish still in the pipe. So he squirts it, and he rubs his hands together. And now it's a big joke, so I'm like, Logan, smell your hands. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's expecting lemon drop martini, baby. He sniffs his hand, and he's like, oh, it's like fish with lemon. It was great. So now it just smells like lemon. So if you use it at the shop, it just smells like lemon. Now your hands will not smell like fish. But that was probably one of the funniest things. Stupid stuff like, you got the phone system all set up. And with the phone system, we have put a caller on hold, right? And if they're on hold for 30 seconds, the call rings back to the service center. And if we're still looking for a solution for that, or we're with a customer, we can't answer it right away, it's supposed to put them back on hold and then come back 30 seconds later and remind everybody again with a ring that the caller's on hold. Well, the phone system instead, we put you on hold, you goes 30 seconds, and then instead of putting you back on hold, it just hangs up on you. Yeah, that's award-winning whoopsie service. So those are the things the soft open is designed to catch. We think we got them all taken care of now. The guys came to put the sign up outside of the shop. Supposed to be a simple sign install. Literally took them all day long. And they're like, wow, you sure got a lot of letters in your name. I'm like, are you complaining about me giving you good, wholesome, legitimate work to do on the building? No, sir, not at all, sir. Putting the sign up. I'm just messing with you guys. Yeah, I know it's a lot of letters. The complicating factor, when you come to the service center, if you look up above the door, there's the 2 pillars, and there's like a wire mesh thing in the middle, and they have to put the power box for the sign, the electricity generating part of the box, on the back side of the mesh, but the letters have to get mounted to the front side of the mesh. So literally all day long for every letter they were drilling, because none of the letters lined up so they could put a screw through the hole in the mesh. No, it had to be, they had to drill holes for everything. So all day long just drilling holes, metal shavings all over the ground outside the front of the shop. They got all the letters in. It took them all day, but they got it done. So we have a beautiful sign up now. The next day after the sign went up, a woman came in and she said, I've been over here for the last 3 days looking for you guys, and I can't find you anywhere because that sign wasn't there. And we're like, I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am. That sign's been there all week. Yeah. No, we didn't say that. No, we apologize. She was like, sorry, we were waiting for the sign to go up. It was actually a day early, but she found us and got her computer in as well. The caller that called during the program, let me tell you about this, guys. The caller that called in from the program was under the impression, I guess when he dropped off his computer, that it would be done in an hour. And a maintenance checkup, just testing the memory takes more than an hour. And we take the hard drive out, we take it to another computer and start the test on that while we're testing the memory to speed up the turnaround time. We've really done a lot to speed up the time at which we can get a computer back to you and complete all of the requisite testing. And so I called right after the program, Justin called me because he heard that caller call in. And he goes, I'm really sorry, Thor. I did not mean to give him the impression that we weren't going to look at his computer today. He goes, literally, it's about 10 minutes from being done right now. And he goes, we heard the show. We took that as the indication that he should have had an ASAP or an expedite. So we bypassed the memory scan. We did all the things we normally do. He's about 10 minutes from done. I said, give him a call and let him know, because he was really disappointed and upset that it wasn't ready for him. But guys, it does take longer than an hour. Sometimes when we quote 1 hour of labor to fix a problem, that doesn't mean like we'll take it in the back and pop it in the automatic computer fixer oven, and an hour later it'll come out like a delicious chocolate chip cookie. Sometimes it takes more time for the tests that we run, but a lot of those tests are automated. They're progress bars that go by. And we don't feel that it's fair or right to charge you guys hourly labor for a progress bar going by. So we say, okay, it's an hour of labor because the amount of time a technician will have to actually physically put into your repair is about an hour. But the repair itself could take 8 hours. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you come in for an hour of labor, it doesn't mean we'll be back out in an hour. Sometimes it does, but oftentimes it doesn't. I'm going to check for questions here real quick. Great audio. Well, you know, Winston, I think it's the studio. Honestly, I'm noticing the video is less blurry. The lighting in here is more diffused and different. It's a much more harsh light in the KFAB studio. Also, the windows behind me, I had to close the blinds a little bit to keep the sun from filtering in too much. But we have more even light. So I'm noticing my eyes don't look quite as tired. It could have been the great sleep that I got at Timberline, but no, it's the studio. The lighting is better in here. The acoustics, honestly, are a little bit better. There's a little bit more room between the walls, which they're all, of course, sound deadening, just like they are at KFAB. They're both iHeart studios. But the larger studio room does help with the transmission of sound back and forth without getting into all the science of it. So the camera probably sounds better. I know it looks better. I can tell that it looks better. The only thing I didn't like was my chair is super tall. And that means I've had to like suck this in for the whole show. You know, this last few weeks have been very stressful, okay? I may have been eating my stress, all right? But I've been doing it for you. I'm putting on this weight, all those peanut butter cups and those, oh my gosh, the Reese's peanut butter, I don't know, the pumpkins that they're coming out with. Are they pumpkins now? Is that what they are? Pumpkins now? That have the Reese's Pieces inside of them? I don't like Reese's Pieces, right? But then I accidentally picked up one of these packs that had the Reese's Pieces inside, and I bit into it. And there's actually there's people who major in food science, actually major in this stuff, that putting just the right amount of crunch into a Reese's peanut butter cup makes it so delicious, right? I'm just saying, I bought a whole bag for the shop, and if you guys couldn't eat them fast enough, that's not on me. I mean, I'm just doing my part, right? So, all right, let's jump in and see if we got any questions here real quick. All righty. Thanks for joining us, Winston. Winston is approving the audio. Winston is the unofficial audio technician of the Compute This radio show. Thank you for joining us, Winston. I genuinely appreciate it and count on this because I got in here like a half an hour early or 40 minutes early, something like that, because I was super paranoid. I didn't know what hookups we would have. I didn't even have the Wi-Fi password when I got here. I had my hotspot geared up. I mean, I was ready for the apocalypse. But it was just an amazing experience. I didn't even have to adjust the audio levels, guys. Like everything I plugged in was like butter. Oh, it was amazing. Alrighty, still with us? Good to see you, Roger. Top fan, Roger. Good to have you. Alrighty, Chris says, will you do an hour of the news? Will you do a tour of the new service center like you did before all the monitors were hung inside? You know, that's a good idea. I'm going to be back down on Monday, guys. If you want to stop in, I will be in the service center Monday. Myself and Parker are pretty much alternating days when we're in the service center so that the new crew always has a seasoned, experienced veteran with them because little questions pop up or little training tips come up, like trying to think of a good example of one here, like you know, for example, we charge $15 to recycle an all-in-one or a monitor. Not just a monitor, but the all-in-ones basically are monitors. So like an iMac is a monitor. Even though it's a computer, it's considered a monitor by the recycling company. So it's a $15 charge. Little training things like that may not have popped up in their training, but definitely pop up down the line a little bit. Or for example, how we do data transfers. Yes, all right. I generated a teachable moment for my staff this week, and I did it for them. And out of a desire to provide the best service possible for my customer. Now, the fact that it blew up in my face because I didn't follow standard operating procedures, That's not my fault. No, I was trying to do something special, right? Because I'm Thor. I'm supposed to do special stuff. Sometimes people bring computers in, like, it won't boot. And on the front counter, I'm like, all right. And I put my hand on it. And I go, oh. All right, try it now. And I did that to my wife once, and then she turned it on, and it booted up. And I can't say on air what she told me after that. It was just dumb luck that it started up, right? But, so people expect special things when I'm there, so I try to be special. Well, in this case, a gentleman brought in, he was the guy I talked about on air. He brought in his computer with a power supply problem, had a bad motherboard. He had just purchased a solid-state hard drive from us about a year ago. He drove all the way to Papillion to have us put it in. So he had a really nice Samsung Evo solid-state hard drive in his computer. He already had an AMD chipset. His new computer he was getting had an AMD chipset. So there is roughly a 70-30 chance I can literally grab his hard drive and stick it in the new computer and update all the drivers and just have it magically work, right? 70-30 against, by the way. But there's a 30%, and he needed it back quick. So I'm like, I'm going to take a backup of his hard drive because that's the safe thing to do before I try to do this because I know it's got a chance of failure. So I take a backup first, and I've got the backup. Set it aside. Move his hard drive in. Everything's going great, right? We don't have to reinstall his QuickBooks. We don't have to reinstall his Office. We don't have to set up his email. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be. Praise Jesus, it's working. But then we find out he's on version 1903 of Windows 10. That means he's like 3 versions behind. He's not even getting security updates, right? So as part of him buying a new computer, we're not going to send him out the door with a version of Windows 10 that's 1903. So we start the Windows 10 2004 upgrade. I have to leave for the night. Justin, shepherd this to the finish line. All it's got to do is finish that progress bar that we don't charge you to watch, right? And it's good to go. And I leave for the night. The next day I come back to Des Moines and it's still on the bench. And I'm like, what is the meaning of this? And Justin's like, Thor, it blew up and this guy is really mad. I'm like, uh-oh, seriously, all joking aside, what's going on? So the Windows 10 2004 install failed because he had outdated versions of Office and QuickBooks. They were too old. They wouldn't run. So, yeah, it blew up the install. And if I would have stopped and checked for the compatibility report before I just did the install because I was in a hurry, I probably would have realized that. If I would have done a data transfer the right way, where we don't just transplant the hard drive over, that wouldn't have been an issue because everything would have installed fine, except we wouldn't have been able to install his old outdated software because it's not compatible. Wouldn't have blown everything up. So then the guys had to go back and do the job the right way. Eli in the Lincoln Service Center is famous for trying these, and they never work. And we're always like, Eli, please, for the love of all that's holy, stop. Now I finally understand the temptation, because you could be a rock star hero to your customer 30% of the time. But 70% of the time, it's just Problemville. And I thought because I'm Thor, I'm going to get the 30%, baby. I did the homework. I looked at the chipsets. I looked at everything. It's going to be great. And it wasn't great. And so it was a lesson learned from my staff. Those are the little training tips that you almost have to experience to understand. So that's why, guys, we do the data transfers the way that we do them. That's why we can't move your programs over, because 70% of the time it doesn't work. Will you please try, Thor? Sure, we'll try. And maybe it works well enough to get out the door, and then a month later everything blows up in your face and you bring it back in. Why is this piece of junk blowing up in my face? I thought this was a great new Schrock computer. Well, we told you. We shouldn't have done it that way. But you wanted us to do it that way because you didn't have all your install codes. So we did it that way. And now it doesn't work. And we got to do it the right way. And you don't have all your install codes. So we should have just done it that way in the first place. So that's what the Soft Open is here to train for. But yeah, I'll do a tour. I'll do that on Monday. I'll try to remember. I don't think I've got anything super interesting scheduled to pop up on Monday, but I'll do a tour of the Des Moines Service Center, kind of show you guys the bench. I'll try to get in the morning before it gets real busy and real hectic, and then show you everything. I mean, it looks a lot very similar, except now there's TVs on the wall, and there's employees in there, and, and the monitors are all on the wall. So we'll get a tour up for you. Greeting to Mother Schrock and the lovely Kimberly. Mother Schrock? Am I Mother Schrock? Now, they in the Papillion Service Center, they've started calling me Papa Schrock. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. It could be a term of endearment, or it could be like a Papa Smurf reference. I don't know. But with all the Reese's peanut butter eggs I've been eating lately, I'm starting to look at my blue shirt like Papa Schrock. All right. Oh, from the Riddler. Okay, this guy comes in and says, "Tell your mom I'm the Riddler," and I say hi. And I'm like, what is these people in Iowa, like the Riddler? Hey, Mom, the Riddler says hi. He worked with my mom at the railroad, and so he's tell my mom the Riddler said hi. And I was like, oh, okay, gotcha. At first I was like, what? So that's Mama Schrock, got it. I had some fun with the comments. They sounded like something to do. Best wishes and good luck at the new location. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it. Thank you. Are your laptops modular? I asked in your live session and no one answered. Okay, and someone answered no, not possible. Okay, yeah, KJ, I did try to answer that after the show ended, actually, and it wouldn't take my comment because the live broadcast had ended. But here's the thing. Our computers, our desktops are modular, and the concept of the modular nature of the computer means I can take the cheapest computer we sell, the boundless desktop, and I can take out the processor in that, and I can take the processor from the most expensive computer we sell, the Venture, and put that right in. And I can swap the memory, and I can swap the cards, and I can swap the motherboards because they're all modular, which means from an upgraded, this is how we get our computers to last our customers on average 4 to 6 years. Because when something breaks, we can replace it, or we can upgrade it, and it'll take the new, better thing, because it was designed to do that from the get-go. So the difference with laptops, though, is number one, we don't manufacture them, so we're using the Asus Unibody. Asus makes most of the hardware that goes into your Dells and HPs. But Dell and HP make them pull different features off the motherboard. So you lose a port here, you lose a connection there. To save a nickel, save a dime, and then you scale that over 1 million units and you saved a lot of nickels and dimes. Well, with Asus, they make their stuff and they put their name on it and it has all the ports. So you're going to get that USB-C port or USB 3.1 port that you're looking for. You're going to get the high-speed other USB ports. You're going to get the external monitor port. You're going to get a chipset on the main board that will support 3 monitors on a laptop with the right adapters. Yeah, that's the difference at the computers that we sell at Schrock. The problem is they're not interchangeable. I can't take the parts out of the Galant laptop, the high-end one, and stick them in the Resolute, the bottom-end one. They're different laptops. The bodies are a different thickness, the motherboards are a different shape, the screw holes are in different places, and everything is baked into the motherboards on those now. On the lower end one, even the memory is baked in. We can't even upgrade that. But on the middle and the high-end laptops, when we get them from Asus, the options on the board are great. But then they stick these, even if it comes with a solid state, it's the older NVMe solid state drives, the slower ones. So you can say, that people don't realize this, when you go to Best Buy and buy a laptop and you look at the little card, it says comes with a solid state. And you say, Thor and that Commando lady, they tell me to get solid state hard drives. But this comes with a solid state, so I think I'll buy it. But it comes with an old, slow solid state. So we don't want to have the old, slow solid state. We want to have the new, high-end, fast solid state. Hopefully you guys are still seeing me here because my video just dropped off. So hopefully I'm still broadcasting. We'll see. Got to wrap it up in a couple seconds anyway. So we take out those slow drives and replace them with fast drives. We take out the slow memory and we replace it with fast, high-end memory. So that when you get that computer back, even if you bought the exact same computer unibody yourself, you would get a computer that is completely different than the one you get from Schrock. And the one that you get from Schrock will outperform it. It comes with a double warranty. We stack our warranty on top of Asus. Asus, like all the manufacturers, doesn't cover the battery at all. We cover that. So we can't make them modular, but we can get real close. That's why we call them our solid-state laptops. Russell says, had one of those slow iMacs, working much better now. Yes, Russell, it does. It makes a world of difference. All right, guys, I got to wrap it up because the fam is waiting on me. We got to pull the rig out of Timberline. So, thank you very much for joining us. And for those of you who came out to the Des Moines Service Center for the soft open, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. I really appreciate it. You did us a world of good in helping us troubleshoot our systems and make sure that we're ready for the big opening on Monday. I hope to see you in the Service Center on Monday if you haven't been in already. I'd love to have you in. We'll take good care of you and make sure that we get your computer turned as quickly as possible because I know you need it. And we'll make sure that we get everything running the way you want it to run so your technology can work for you. Thanks a lot and have a great afternoon.